Have you ever loved someone so deeply, only to watch them drift away, like you never mattered? That kind of pain cuts deep. It doesn't just break your heart. It makes you question your worth, your future, your purpose. But tonight, I need you to hear this loud and clear. Pain is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Yes, life can feel like walking barefoot on broken glass. Every step forward, a fresh sting. Every goodbye, a scar that doesn't fade. But what if I told you those scars are sacred? What if your deepest wounds are carving the very path to your destiny? Because the sooner you stop fighting the pain and start learning from it, the sooner you'll step into peace, purpose, and real happiness. If you've ever held on to someone who let go of you first, if you're ready to stop surviving and finally start living, comment the number 9 below. If you want me to share how to let go without guilt and walk boldly into your next chapter. And don't forget to subscribe. This journey is just getting started. The most important thing to know is that not everyone should remain in your life. This is a lesson that will hurt like hell, but it's essential. All the while we go through life, we meet new people, create new relationships, and invest in the people around us. We can't fathom a world without some of those bonds because they seem so solid and unbreakable. Life takes its toll. However, people come and go, circumstances change, and sometimes the people we were closest to in the past gradually fade away. The feeling is one of betrayal, as if the very foundations of your being had crumbled. Let me tell you something, though. Some people just aren't destined to be a part of your life forever. There is a purpose, a moment, or a lifetime for every person who crosses our paths. The challenge is that we don't always recognize it as one until the passage of time sheds light on it. The best buddy you had in high school may not be the right person for you now. Your once beloved spouse may now seem more like an alien than a companion. It's human nature to long for the past and do what it takes to maintain a connection. Holding on might be more painful than letting go at times. Realize that just because someone leaves your life doesn't imply that your time with them was in vain. You meet a purpose in every individual you encounter. You learn from them, get your views tested, and they influence your development as a person. All departures, no matter how painful, are valuable. Going through betrayal, heartache, and saying goodbye makes you stronger than you would have been otherwise. However, things become dicey when you stand firm in your refusal to let them go. Try to put yourself in the shoes of someone pulling on a rope from behind. It slashes more deeply into your hands as you clamp down. Attempting to maintain relationships with those who no longer have a place in your life leads to this. Not only is it unpleasant, but it also causes harm. You drain yourself emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, attempting to revive a bond that was never intended to be. Letting go does not mean to stop caring for other people. Acknowledging and embracing life's inherent rhythms is key. Recognizing that some individuals are around to impart knowledge to lead you through a certain stage and then proceed is key. They play a vital part in your narrative, and that's really rather good. This means that your tale is progressing and that more chapters are on the way. The tough part, however, is here. Releasing does not imply ceasing to care. That doesn't imply you should brush the memories aside or act as if they weren't significant. Gratitude, not resentment, is the key to moving on. It means savoring the good times and learning from the bad. Holding on to someone who is supposed to go is like shackling yourself, as well as the person you're clinging to. Consider it in this light. There is always room after a farewell. When you release a person who isn't a good fit for your path, you create space for someone who is. You provide the way for fresh beginnings, new connections, and fresh development. However, if you fixate on what has already passed, you will never get the chance to enjoy those things. And trust me when I say that releasing is no picnic. It requires patience, is uncomfortable and messy, and their absence will hurt in the stillness and in the memories that pop up out of nowhere. However, you will also experience alleviation as time goes on. Their leaving was really a blessing, as you will come to understand. A present of understanding, liberation, and fresh starts. What you must realize is that not everyone is able to cope with the person you are becoming into. Not everyone will be able to adapt to your changing needs as you grow and evolve. And that's okay. It doesn't make either of you bad for evolving or them wrong for being static. Simply put, it signifies that your pathways are no longer converging, and trying to make them remain would lead to nothing but stress and misery. Therefore, let them go with love and grace, knowing that you are still valuable even without them. You may create a lovely life for yourself. You are still whole and deserving. Their departure marks the start of a new chapter, not the conclusion of your narrative. One of life's most painful realities is that not everyone is supposed to remain a part of it. However, a fresh sense of liberation will be yours when you do. A liberation that lets you zero in on the ones who are destined to remain. The ones who encourage, inspire, and weather every storm by your side. When you're ready to let go of connections that aren't serving you anymore, you'll make room for the ones that are worth fighting for. Relax, have faith in the process, and keep in mind the individuals who are destined to remain by your side. 2, you have no say over every single thing. In this environment, having control seems like having it all under control. We believe that life can be directed precisely where we want it to go. So we plan, prepare, and plot, holding the reins securely enough. But that's not how life works, is it? Everything happens at its own pace and in its own manner, and we can only do what we can to influence certain aspects of it. Acknowledging that you have no say over every aspect of your life is a really freeing experience. Consider all the time you've wasted fretting, attempting to control events, and making other people or circumstances conform to your expectations. What percentage of that endeavor was successful? Would you want to know what percentage of that tension resulted in détente? Perhaps not much at all. We cling to the illusion of control, yet the more we grip onto it, the more it eludes us. Anything may happen in life. There are many unexpected highs and lows, triumphs and tragedies, and moments of success and failure sprinkled throughout. Your quest for tranquility will be expedited in proportion to the speed with which you accept this reality. We can simplify this. What other people think of you is out of your hands. Nobody can make you do anything. Opportunity timing, economic conditions, and weather patterns are beyond your control. Now I'll tell you the good news. Everything else pales in comparison to something you have no control over. Which way you react is entirely up to you. The enthusiasm you bring to each day, the dedication you show to your objectives, and the outlook you maintain through the good times and the bad are all under your hands. I have a question for you. How often does the fact that something didn't work out lead you to feel frustrated? Perhaps all your hard work was for nothing when it finally collapsed. Perhaps someone broke your confidence or disappointed you. The human response to such situations is to exert more effort into controlling, fixing, forcing, or fighting. But sometimes it's better to just stand aside and let things happen the way they should. That in no way indicates a lack of concern or effort on your part. It implies you get over being so attached to the results. It implies you give it your all regardless of the outcome and don't let it determine your level of enjoyment. Because let me tell you something, mastering life does not bring you peace. Believing in it is the source of it. Envision yourself standing on a river. You will wear yourself out trying to control the water. However, if you can adapt to the flow of the river, you will discover that it carries you. It's like that when you let go of the reins. Rather than giving up, it's about settling into a groove that lets you go with the flow of life, rather than against it. I won't pretend that this is simple now. When you have strong feelings for something or someone, it may be quite difficult to let go of control. When things don't work out the way you expected, it hurts. What seems to be a setback at the moment may in fact be a prelude to a more significant development. You unlock doors you never knew existed when you let go of control. Consider all the things you've attempted to manage before. Ponder how many of them turned out just as you had anticipated. Most likely, very few. The truth is, you still learned something from the things that didn't work out for you. They molded you, fortified you, and set you up for success in the future. Anxieties about rejection, failure, or the unknown are the foundational fears of control. Living in constant dread, however, saps your pleasure. It perpetuates a never-ending loop of stress and misery. You may overcome your fear by releasing your grip on control. When you enter a place of trust, you are free to accept life as it is, flaws and all. So what's the secret to letting go? Begin with a little effort. Rather of becoming angry when things don't work out the way you expected, take a step back and consider what you can take out from the experience. Change your attention from the things you can't change to the things you can. Your attitude, your behavior, and your ability to bounce back. Keep in mind that releasing doesn't imply a lack of concern. You should keep trying. In other words, you've realized that the things you can't change don't determine your value, your pleasure, or your tranquility. They originate within, in the knowledge that you are strong enough to deal with everything life throws at you. No need to beat yourself up about things you can't change, for the simple reason that it is unnecessary. There is no such thing as a perfect or assured life. Learning, developing, and having faith in the path are the key concepts. When you release your grip on control, you open yourself up to the liberation that will lead you to the joy you really deserve. Thirdly, setbacks are inevitable on the path to achievement. Let's have an honest conversation about failure, the painful, unfiltered kind, not the inspirational ones we read about in quotations. Setbacks hurt. This is the unexpected rejection letter. The chance that passed you by, or the failed business venture. You may not want to hear this, but there's a voice telling you that you aren't good enough. Fail to expect most people to tell you that. You are not in this alone. It is the foundation of achievement. There is a failure tale for every successful person you've ever heard of or read about. Consider it. Everyone experiences failure, disappointment, and setbacks. This is true for the best athletes, the most successful business people, and the heroes we hold in high esteem. So what's the catch? Even when they failed, they persisted. They drank it to keep moving on. But there's no need to sugarcoat it. Setbacks are painful. It makes me feel ashamed. It's depressing and might cause you to doubt everything. You might feel as if everyone is watching your every move, just waiting for you to mess up. And it's easy to convince yourself that you're not cut out for success when you're feeling that way. But failure teaches you the worst lie of all, that you are unable. You should not let failure deter you. A stepping stone, if you will. If you keep failing, eventually, you will become the person your heart desires. your trip is far from over. You'll be ready for the following chapter. When you finish this lesson, avoiding failure is not the key to success. The key is to get back up after every setback. Consider your first foray into a previously unexplored activity, musical instrument, or skill set. You made mistakes. You likely failed often due to your own blunders. However, you persisted. A lot of work went into your preparation. Congratulations, you have learned. You became better with time. All parts of your life are subject to the same idea. The issue is that our fear of failing increases with age. We learn from our culture that falling short is a sign of our frailty and a cause for shame. The reality, however, is that your value is not determined by your failures. It shows how brave you are. It indicates that you made an effort. What this implies is that you risked being uncomfortable and did something new, and it is an accomplishment in and of itself. The truth is, you will fail miserably. I don't just mean once, I mean repeatedly. People will be on the lookout for you whenever you do it. Opinions will differ. Some may even cheer for your demise. They should be allowed. Their views have no bearing on who you are. Your reaction to setbacks does not. Everyone who achieves great success does so because they never fail. Their refusal to let setbacks define them is the key. They get up quickly after falling. When they fall, they pick themselves up, and they keep going. They know that giving up is not the end of the road. It leads to a more significant destination. To be honest, however, recovering from setbacks isn't a picnic. Resilience, determination, and a mentality that doesn't give up are necessary. Owning up to your errors and learning from them requires bravery. The key is to see setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than oppressors. You learn what doesn't work and what does via failure. It challenges you to think outside the box, evolve, and come up with new ideas. It confronts you for who you really are by removing the mask of perfection. And while you're doing it, you'll become smarter, stronger, and more equipped to succeed. Take heart. Setbacks are only temporary. Feelings of anguish, sadness, and uncertainty pass. The power it bestows and the lesson it imparts are what really matter. The soil of endurance is fertilized with every seed that fails. Plus, it has the potential to blossom into an impressive item in due course. So the next time you encounter failure, try not to take it personally. Consider it a springboard to your return. Just let yourself experience the pain for a second. After you've fallen, get yourself up and give it another go. Why? Because each time you do, you alter your life's narrative. When you fail, you learn. It is what it is and has always been. Accept it, grow from it, and build upon it to unleash your brilliance. Avoiding failure is not the key to success. Having the guts to make mistakes, grow from them, and try again is key. In that is one's actual power. Success begins there. Fourthly, contentment is something that exists inside. When we look for joy, we often look in the wrong places. The emptiness within us is something we want to be filled by other people, material goods, or achievements. When we tell ourselves things like, "I will be happy when I get that promotion, buy that car, or find that relationship," we are creating unrealistic expectations for ourselves. But here's the thing, most of us fight the idea that external factors are the source of pleasure. It is intrinsic. Just think about it for a second. You can't seek happiness. It must be something you make. It isn't going to appear in the next accomplishment, purchase, or person for you to meet. The key is already within you. You only need to find it. However, you must turn your gaze inner rather than outside if you want to discover it. Truthfully, you will never be happy if you look to other things to make you happy. Why? For the simple reason that material items eventually lose their luster, and that people and situations change. Your happiness will be ephemeral and uncontrollable as long as it is dependent on those things. Consider it. Have you ever accomplished anything you believed would bring you joy, only to realize it didn't fill you up after a while? How often do you find that you still need more of a certain item after purchasing it? This is the vicious circle of seeking pleasure from outside sources, which never ends and constantly makes you want more. It is from inside that one may get genuine and enduring joy. It is the result of being true to yourself, being thankful and acting in accordance with your principles. This state of mind is the result of accepting what you have and moving on from the belief that you need more to be happy. However, we must admit that this isn't a picnic. No matter how hard we try, there will always be someone or something telling us that we're not good enough, that we should strive for greater heights in order to be happy. The carefully selected highlights of other people's life shown on social media might make us feel inadequate. Our accomplishments, our belongings, and our relationships are the yardsticks by which society expects us to evaluate our value. So many of us are dissatisfied, and it's understandable. You have to decide to stop looking for happiness outside of yourself and start creating it within if you want to escape this cycle. And thankfulness is the first step. No matter how little it may seem, be sure to pause every day to be grateful for what you have. A safe place to sleep, food to eat, and oxygen to breathe are all necessities that millions of people throughout the world wish they could have. Your joy will blossom when you stop dwelling on your problems and start appreciating what you have. Secondly, stop comparing yourself to others. When you constantly compare your life to other people's, you quickly lose whatever pleasure you once had. The surface level is seldom indicative of the whole picture. You may not be able to notice the hardships that the seemingly perfect individual is fighting. Pay attention to your own development, progress, and joy. Compassion for oneself is another ingredient for a fulfilled life. When we are hard on ourselves for any shortcomings, mistakes, or failures we may have, we are really just being our own worst critics. Truthfully, however, you are just human. Something will go wrong with you. You won't be able to do it. Yeah, that's okay. Be patient and nice to yourself as you would be to a friend. Doing so will make it simpler to accept and love yourself, which in turn will bring you joy. Living authentically is another key to happiness. Many of us spend our days attempting to please other people, even if it means compromising our own principles and aspirations. No amount of serving other people can ever make you happy. Find out what's really important to you and base your life around that. Finding true happiness is possible when your deeds are in harmony with your principles. Lastly, keep in mind that finding happiness is more of a process than an end point. This isn't something you do once and then forget about. Rather, it requires constant work. Every day is going to be different. There will be times of difficulty, worry, and loss. But even at such times, there are always ways to discover a little joy, like a thoughtful comment, a delicious dinner, or some alone time to think contentment is something that one must cultivate intrinsically. No one can bestow it upon you or deprive you of it. All the credit for making, tending to, and safeguarding it should go to you. Get content with what you have within instead than trying to find it outside. Why? Because when you do, you'll find an unwavering happiness that is uniquely yours. Fifthly, it's okay if some people don't like you. Realizing that not everyone will appreciate you is a challenging life lesson. There will always be some who look down on you. pass judgment, or refuse to accept you, regardless of how kind you are, how hard you work, or how much good you do for the world. You have to embrace the fact, no matter how painful it is, if you want to live an honest and joyful life. Being hated is painful. Let's be honest. When you don't feel understood, valued, or included, it hurts. Our social nature compels us to seek for companionship and approval. However, you give other people control over your pleasure when you let their approval determine your self-worth. You give in to their judgments and let them determine your worth. I know how difficult it is to bear that weight, my buddy. Truthfully, it's impossible to win over everyone's favor, no matter how much effort you put in. Someone will always find fault with you, no matter how kind, honest, or unselfish you are. Why reason being other people's views do not pertain to you? Rather, they are about them. Attempting to modify yourself to conform to their preferences, dislikes, insecurities, and prejudices can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. Consider it. How often have you gone out of your way to make someone happy, only to experience their lack of appreciation? When you wanted to avoid a fight, how often did you hold back your real sentiments or thoughts? Have you ever turned down the lights to make someone else more at ease? Did you ever find genuine happiness as a result of all that work? The fact is that you end up losing your identity if you strive too hard to be liked by everyone, in an effort to conform to a mold that wasn't meant for you. You begin to bury your true self, abandon your principles, and give up on your aspirations. And when everything is said and done, the only person you fail to impress is yourself. You are not here to cater to everyone's preferences. The point of your existence is to be fully present, to follow your heart, and to celebrate your individuality. Yes, it's normal that some people won't get you. You can't change who you are to please the people who really care about you. They'll adore you no matter what. Being hated does not indicate your value, and this is the freeing truth. But it is also a terrible one. All it is a mirror of your unique personality. You are not defective or worthless if other people dislike you. Just because they aren't into you doesn't mean you're wrong. Your purpose in life was never to be the beloved by everyone. Your true self was always supposed to shine through. If you want to quit worrying about what other people think, what are some common steps? To begin, you must accept yourself. Remind yourself that you are perfect the way you are by staring at yourself in the mirror. Be yourself. There's no need to alter your identity to satisfy other people. Ultimately, it is your self-esteem, not the number of people who like you, that determines your value. Secondly, stop apologizing or trying to make other people understand why you should. Nobody has a right to demand an account of your motivations, values, and identity from you. The ones who love you most won't need one, and those who insist on having one aren't deserving of it. You should also surround oneself with supportive individuals who will encourage you rather than discourage you. You don't have time to waste attempting to impress those who don't appreciate you. Get close to people who encourage you, who value you, and who love you, no matter what. Last but not least, enjoy the independence that comes with knowing you don't have to please everyone. When you quit caring about what other people think, you can finally live your life to the fullest. You start to flourish when you start making decisions that are in line with your beliefs, interests, and aspirations. Sure, some people won't warm up to you. Actually, it's great. It's freeing because you reclaim your power the second you stop worrying about what other people think. That's when you start enjoying your life to the fullest without fear or shame. Therefore, let them pass judgment, make assumptions, and go, if they feel the need. Because what matters most is not what other people think of you, but rather what you are. How you see yourself matters. Furthermore, You will discover an indescribable joy and contentment when you accept yourself just as you are. Imperfections and all sixth truth. It's okay if you can't control everything. Anything may happen in life. Things outside your control will always arise, regardless of your level of planning and effort. Unpredictable changes are inevitable, whether in the weather, in people's actions, or in the surroundings around you. Do you agree that it's annoying when you put in a lot of effort to build the life you desire, yet obstacles beyond your control scuttle your plans? The fact, however, is that you have no control over anything, and that's okay. Actually, it's really freeing, not just acceptable. The minute you surrender your grip on control, you release yourself from the clutches of unwarranted worry, disappointment, and stress. The truth is that the majority of us put a lot of effort into attempting to manage the unpredictable, attempting to control how other people see us, fixating on the results, and fretting about things that haven't even occurred yet are all examples of this. Doing so also means missing out on the joy and contentment of the here and now. But here's the thing. Attempting to maintain control over everything is like grasping water. Nothing you do will prevent it from slipping through your fingers. Squeezing harder results in greater loss. Unpredictability, flux, and constant change characterize life. The more you resist, the more difficult it will get. Realizing what you have control over is the first step in accepting this fact. The weather is out of your hands, but your attire is. What you do in response to other people's treatment of you is entirely under your hands. While external factors may be beyond your control, your attitude and behavior are entirely within your sphere of influence. Moving your attention from things you can't change to things you can influence is key, because you reclaim control when you focus your attention on things you have some say over, including your attitude, choices, and efforts. Instead of focusing on things you have no control over, you shift your focus to those things that are within your control. Let us pause for a second to recognize something significant. Giving up control does not imply desensitization. Do not let this discourage you from pursuing a better life or your aspirations. It just indicates you're cool with things not going according to plan. It indicates that you have faith in something. You are strong and resilient. You can adjust and go on, even when things don't go according to plan. Consider the instances in your life when you encountered setbacks. Perhaps it was a chance encounter, a failed romantic connection, or a job offer. It seemed like the world was collapsing at that moment. However, when you reflect on those times, you can see how they molded you, educated you, and ultimately paved the way for your current success. Oftentimes, it is the things you have no say over that ultimately bring you to your greatest need. When you release your grip on things, you also release your dread of the unknown. Even while it's full with potential, the unknown may be terrifying. A world of unimaginable possibilities, experiences, and personal development awaits you when you let go of the impulse to micromanage every aspect of your life. Letting go isn't easy. Realizing that you can't influence every outcome requires bravery. Trusting the process when you don't fully comprehend it requires faith. The payoff, however, is well worth the effort, since release opens the door to more happiness, freedom, and serenity in your life. To begin, consider the following. First, stop wasting time thinking about or fretting about the past or the future, and start living in the here and now. Right now is the only moment over which you have any influence, so just do your best. Breathe deeply and go step by step. 2. Be okay with not knowing anything. That's part of the charm of life, its unpredictability. You should welcome the unknown as an opportunity for learning and development, rather than dread it. 3. Have faith in your own abilities. You can't always be in charge, but you may face challenges with confidence in your knowledge, fortitude, and ability to bounce back. No. 4. Stop trying to be flawless. There is no such thing as a flawless life. The purpose of life is to experience its ups and downs. Included, the flaws should be celebrated. They are the essence of realism. 5. Give in to what I begin. When you can't see the bigger picture, sometimes it's better to just let go and believe that everything is occurring for a purpose. There are certain things beyond your control, and that's okay. The only thing you have control over is your attitude toward living with uncertainty. Life isn't about micromanaging every aspect. Therefore, you have the power to let go of fear, accept the unknown, and trust the adventure. Becoming the person God created you to be is all about embracing life and everything it has to offer. Number 7. Your time is the most valuable asset you have. Make the most of it. One harsh reality is that this time is passing quickly. There are many ways to improve your financial situation, expand your social circle, and open doors to new prospects. But time is finite. Despite this, a lot of us act as if we never run out of time. We put off doing the things that are actually important in the hopes of getting to them later, and we squander a lot of time on things that don't matter. The truth, however, is that later is by no means certain. You can't guarantee tomorrow. You can only make the most of the time you have right now if you don't waste it. Reflect on the activities you've been partaking in recently. How much time have you wasted on meaningless pursuits? How often do you find yourself preoccupied with things beyond your control, mindlessly watching television or scrolling through social media? Now consider the alternative uses of that irretrievable time. Actually, time is something that many of us tend to overlook. There doesn't seem to be enough time to do the things we want to do in life. Achieve our ambitions, form meaningful connections, and construct a life we are proud of. But we behave like there is. Yet we are aware in our hearts that time is running out. We can never get back. The time we squander because of this time is of the essence. Its worth surpasses that of monetary wealth, material belongings, and the sum total of all human endeavors, for the simple reason that how you choose to spend your time determines the quality of your life. My question to you is this: are you focusing on what's really important in life? Is your time and energy going toward activities that will help you develop and achieve your goals, or are you squandering it on meaningless pursuits? Unfortunately, many of us waste time on meaningless pursuits, such as seeking approval from others, being too concerned with what other people think, or ruminating on things that have already happened. Doing so causes us to lose sight of the here and now, the people we care about, and the opportunities to realize our aspirations. On the bright side, you can always make a change for the better in terms of how you choose to spend your time. You have the power to begin making better choices right now, regardless of how much you have squandered. You may begin to focus on what is essential and abandon what isn't. Determine what is most important to you. First, tell me, what is it that you hold in the highest regard? Pay attention to what matters most to you, whether that's your loved ones, your health, or your aspirations. Invest all of your time, effort, and focus on them. Next, get rid of the items that take up your time, but don't provide anything worthwhile. Give up on things that aren't serving you, whether they're unhealthy relationships, pointless activities, or obligations. You should not squander your time on activities that do not benefit you. Lastly, always remember to focus on the here and now. We tend to fixate on the past or fret about what could happen in the future, but right now is all you got. Your time is precious, and you will appreciate it more the more you live in the here and now. Time is not only a measure of passing seconds, it is a measure of the quality of your life. The memories you build, the difference you bring into the world, and the legacy you establish. Therefore, stop procrastinating and start experiencing life to the fullest right now. Don't put off following your passions any longer. Express your deepest feelings for those you care about now, not tomorrow, because in the end, it's the little decisions you make with your time that add up to your life story. The moments when you were really there, appreciative and alive. The times when you laughed with loved ones. The times when you worked for your ideals. Do not squander your time. It is your most valuable resource. Put it where it will do the most good. Invest in what matters most, and savor every moment. Because making a life worth living is ultimately dependent on how you choose to spend your time. These realities aren't meant to depress you, but rather to liberate you. Even if they're severe, they're freeing all the same. You will open the way to a more joyful and satisfying existence when you accept them. In other words, you need to take a position, confront your problems head-on, and own them before you can really live your life to the fullest. You are on center stage. Shine brightly. Much obliged.